What's up, gamers, and welcome back for more WotC-20. Today's matchup is going to be HypnoDragonite versus Steelix Fortress. On the right will be the Fortress deck, which has been looking for partners for a while, landing on Steelix for this tournament. And on the left will be Hypno and Dragonite. This is Step-In Dragonite from Fossil, so it is feels like a Dragon Tower style of deck, except instead of Dragon Plume with the Vile Plume line, the disruption piece will be Hypno from Aquapolis. So now that you know the decks, the general maybe kind of play style, we'll get off with two Cleffas in the active, and it looks like it is an attached to Cleffa for turn, and it was a heads on the Eek. I believe that was a Cyclone coming down, but it didn't do anything because yes, it does look like there is another Cleffa on the bench, so effectively switching them. There's no damage counters on them or anything yet. Passing over to Hypno Tower here is a Pokemon Fan Club, turn 1. And you can see which Dragonairs are being packed here. It looks like the Hyper Beam Dragonair from base set. And pulls out a Rocket Dratini. Oh, as well as a Hoo-Hoo, so there's also Noctowl in here for more disruption. A little bit of locking and disruption mechanisms. So we were discussing the Hypno line being pretty good. That is the Aquapolis Hypno with Sleep Pendulum. Once per turn when it is active, you can put the opponent asleep. And of course, Spiral Aura for 30 allows you to gust the opponent if it doesn't get a knockout. So those are some of the mons you can expect to see later in this matchup. You can see a Potion Energy and an ER in hand for Hypno Tower. Potion attaches to Cleffa in the active. There's also an Oak. You can see Step-In Dragonite right there. And Eek is rolled for. It is also good. So both sides off to a good start with an Eek. Fan Club obviously preferred. Southern Islands Onyx on the bench for Steelix here. And we'll see how many Pinecos show up in Fortresses. Once they are set up, it is harder to step in. A second Cleffa joining the bench for Steelix. Steelix immediately coming down with the DCE and an Eco Gym in play to protect metals when they do show up. So the way Fortress reads is during the opponent's turn, whenever one of the opponent's bench Pokemon becomes active, Fortress does 10 damage to it. That is ability damage. So that would impact Step-In. Looks like that was a Tails on an Eek attempt. And a fresh 7 for Hypno Tower coming in here. We also know that this Steelix deck runs Espeon for some energy movement. And another Hoo-Hoo joins the bench. You can see a Friend Ball. Curious if we will see that used for the Dragonite line or for the Noctowl line. DCE attaches to Rocket Dratini for turn. And there is the Friend Ball, so we will see what that ends up grabbing. It will be using Cleffa on the opponent's side as the type. And now there are multiple Dratini options. Depending on whether or not you're a DCE deck, you will either be looking to run the Team Rocket Dratini as we have on board here, or you will be looking to run the usually Neo Destiny Dratini, which is all single attaches but has 2 attacks, so all personal preference. All Dratinis have 40 HP, but both of those named have a Psychic resistance, so. Looks like Dragonair is grabbed. 80 HP, pretty good for a stage 1. Slam is not the premier attack. It's obviously going to be Hyper Beam for 4 colorless. You can deal 20 and then ER the opponent. Specifically, they're defending.
I've never actually seen it. I only know some from it, so I was like the exact age where it was
Now you can see a Recycle Energy in hand. There's the Hypno. And Fossil Dragonite with Step-In is ready to be played. It does have a usable attack for 4 energy. Slam is flip 2 and deal 40 for each heads. Can be very swingy. ER coming down and hitting DCE off of Steelix, which is good with Eco Gym down. Eco Gym cannot save that card. Eco Gym reads whenever an attack, Pokemon Power, or Trainer card discards another player's non-colorless energy from a Pokemon, return that energy card to its owner's hand. So we'll keep that in mind. There's Rainbow Energy, attaching to Steelix for turn, dealing 10 damage to the Steelix. And gusting in the Hoot Hoot for a free Eek. On Steelix's side, passing turns back to Dragonite. Still no Drowsies. Some energy options could always evolve and then Oak after an attach, be a little more aggressive, we will see. Recycle coming on to Hoot Hoot to retreat, it looks like, and put Cleffa back into the active. And Dragonite evolves. Worth noting, with the Recycle Energy attached, Dragonair could have come in and attempted a Slam knockout on Cleffa. And it is a heads for Eek. Dragonite from Fossil also notably has 100 HP, just like Steelix, so some big bodies. That is also a little bit behind the name Dragon Tower, tower being going high, stage 2's big board. And I do think it was the right play, getting that Dragonite going, attempting to Eek, save your Oaks for later. Could have gone aggressive with the Dragonair, but the opponent did just Eek, so the likelihood that they draw into something that helps them out, assuming that the Cleffa even gets knocked out, pretty high likelihood, right?
Is Shuffle in they draw? Or Knockout? Is it Knockout or Umbreon that draws me? Umbreon. But also this one.
Steelix coming in, so whatever the hand was for Steelix, liked it enough to put Steelix active. The bench is going wide after all. And a Cyclone comes, just switches out the two Cleffas there. That is the choice of the Dragonite pilot. And a Charity coming down onto Steelix. Attempting Earth Rift. And it is good, seeing if it can be used again next turn, and it cannot. So even with Charity attached, it looks like the choice for Charity will not be used here. The way Charity works is you attach it to your active, and unless that Pokemon gets knocked out, you may return Charity to your hand at the end of your turn. If that Pokemon attacks and does damage to the defending Pokemon, you may reduce that damage by any amount rounded to the nearest 10. So Charity only discards if the Pokemon it's attached to is knocked out by something like Recoil. So it will stick around. Good tool for dealing with Mr. Mime. Good tool for working around Goldberries. Excellent tool for Steelix for keeping an active alive and griefing bench. And if you have Fortress set up with spikes, it can be very difficult for the opponent to work around that. Attach for turn going to Dragonite. Along with the Goldberry. That will definitely come into play. ER hitting the Cyclone Energy. Again, Eco Gym not saving that one. And Cleffas will switch. And Eek. Turn passes back to Steelix. You can see a Warp Energy in hand. That was probably intentional. Going aggressive there, knowing that even if you flip Tails on Earth Rift, you could get it out of the active. So there's the Warp. This allows Earth Rift to be used again, since it has been effectively benched. Shortcutting the sequence there, going to Cleffa and just putting Steelix right back into the active. Attempting Earth Rift. Dice Tower shooting that die across the board. And it does not succeed off of the Baby Rule. Cleffa a decent stall option against something like Steelix. Note that Charity was clutched up there. And Noctowl coming down, so now you every turn can expect to see a Glaring Gaze. Once during your turn, before you attack, you may flip a coin. And if heads, look at the opponent's hands. If the opponent has any trainers there, choose one of them, and they shuffle it back into their deck. Looks like that was another ER. Sending Warp to the bin, which is a big deal considering that this Steelix deck does run Espeon as a support package. Taking Warp off the board is very good. No Warp bouncing here. Recycle attaches for turn to step in Dragonite. Now we will see a computer search, discarding a Dratini and a Potion Energy. So curious to see what gets grabbed here. Could be an Oak. You see a Fan Club still in deck. Another Friend Ball. I don't think there were any Drowsy in there. Are both Drowsy prize? That would be very unfortunate. You see the Hypnos. Clearly running a 2-2 line of Drowsy and Hypno. Both are in the prize pile. Carefully considering the final bench slot for this side of the board. There are 3 Drowsy to choose from in format that aren't named from something like Sabrina's, but of those options, usually you see Rocket Hypno played for that long distance hypnosis option. If it hits yourself and you have the ability to evolve, you'll wake up.
It's pretty bad. You did.
Noctowl number 2 coming down. Glaring Gaze being attempted. First one is a Tails. Number 2 is a Heads. Hand gets shown. Trainers get shuffled in. Good response to Charity. There's a Fortress in hand. Definitely shuffle Charity. Noctowl actually pretty good response to Charity, considering how long Charity can hang around and how good of a utility it is for Steelix to keep your active alive. Getting rid of Charity turn over turn with Noctowl is very important in this matchup. Eek pops off. Turns pass back to Steelix. Rainbow attaches to Steelix, so now it's been taking 20 damage. And an Elm for a turn, so no more trainers. Just looking for basics, looking for Pinecoast to set up on the bench, throwing that Fortress that was in hand back into the deck. Worth noting, with 2 Rainbows attached to Steelix, that does allow it to be 1 attach away with a DCE from Iron Smash. Iron Smash, pretty good attack, does 50. You flip 2 coins. If both are heads, it'll deal 70. If both are tails, it will do 0. Otherwise, 1 head, 1 tail does 50. Earth Rift attempt. It's good. Can it be used next turn? No. So now the Cleffas, 1 Earth Rift away from a knockout on each of them, And Noctowl only has 60 HP as well, so it doesn't love being Earth Rifted. The Dragonite will be another story. That'll take a while to knock out with Earth Rift. Cyclone drawn off the top, not what you want. You don't want to enable Earth Rift next turn. Lots of energy though. Could come in with that DCE and start trading. You could get a knockout on that Steelix actually.
The third burn.
DCE attaching to Dragonite. A little bit of luck puts Steelix in the bin with 2 rainbows. Really slows down Fortress.
40 for 2 blue. Yep.
Glaring Gaze is first. First one is good. And now you can get a look. There's a Fortress, Trader, Gus, lots of trainers, and an item finder. Can't remove the DCE or Rainbow from hand. I would throw that item finder back in and go for this knockout. Item finder goes in. Second Glaring Gaze, also good. Gust goes away. I would have considered getting rid of the Trader just because you know there are 2 Mons in hand. Trader can send that Cleffa back in, grab a Pineco, and get that Fortress out as well. But Gust is a good card. Of course, getting Gusted here with free Retreaters and Step In, not that big of a risk. Would have liked to see the Trader go in. We'll see if it matters or not. Looks like we're going to see some big flips from Fossil Dragonite this turn. Slam is ready to go. Of course, you just rolled 2 heads. All you need is 2 more heads. For a very statistically likely 4 heads in a row. Alright, Slam, 2 dice into the tower. It does 40. So Steelix is up to 60. And even with a DCE attached and a very optimal roll on Iron Smash, Dragonite is safe and has a Gold Berry, so can't knock it out this turn. There's the traders we were talking about before. Deciding what to do. I'm surprised that's not a snap grab for a Pineco. Maybe a little bit of deck check. See the Pineco's in there. See the Espeon's in there. There is a Pineco from Skyridge. There are 2 of them. This is going to be the 50 HP Pineco though. The only 50 HP Pineco of the 4 in format. With a retreat cost of 1 instead of 2. Very nice. And an attack that can hit babies. We know 1 card in hand is Fortress. Unsure what's being considered right here. Deciding again whether or not Pineco is the right choice. Alright, we're sticking with Pineco, so Breeder resolving. Or sorry, Trader resolving. This pilot would never be caught dead with Breeder. DCE onto Steelix. It's not guaranteed it gets knocked out next turn, it's just highly likely. There's also a chance Steelix can come back here on Dragonite, also very unlikely. Debating Iron Smash. There's a chess clock joke to be made in here somewhere. One heads for Iron Smash, dealing 50 to Dragonite. That will pop Goldberry, put it down to 20. So even with a high rolled Iron Smash, next turn Dragonite would still live with 10 HP remaining. And it gets a good crack back at this Steelix here. Glaring Gaze number 1 fails, as does the second one. Only 2 cards in hand, 3 cards in hand I should say for Steelix. We know one is a Strength Charm and another is a Fortress. Another Goldberry coming down for this Dragonite. Keeping it nice and healthy. Is it time for Slam? Yes, it is. It's good. Only needed 1. Puts 2 Rainbow, a DCE, an Onyx, and a Steelix into the bin. That is our first prize of the match, prizing 5 to 6 in favor of Dragonite. There's that Fortress coming down as we talked about. It gets a Metal Attach, and I think we'll see a pretty quick Eek. No reason to commit that Strength Charm. I think the other thing was... I don't remember what the last card was. Looks like Drowsy was not picked up off the prizing there. Waiting for Eek to resolve. In the meantime, Glaring Gaze will be rolled for. 1 will succeed. Alright. Looks like a Pineco line, as well as a Fortress line is picked up there with a Metal Energy. Pretty good hand off the Eek. Town V gets shuffled back in due to Glaring Gaze. If you're Dragonite, you just start swinging, I think. You've got 2 Noctowls set up. It won't slow down too much. But it'll help. Got 2 Clefas on 20 HP. You know there's a Steelix in hand coming back down soon. Cyclone Energy won't do much here since there's 2 Clefas on board for Fortress. Alright, looks like Baby Flip. It's good. Just needs 1 heads here with the Dragonite. But the Clefa survives, so the Baby Rule gets through. Dragonite then hits 2 tails on the Slam. Little fist pump from Fortress. Onyx and Pineco join the board. Metal Energy onto Onyx. I don't think this Dragon Tower build is going to be running a stadium. They might run a narrow gym, but I doubt it. Debating whether or not the Eek should happen. You're throwing away a Steelix and a Fortress. Town V, I thought that got shuffled back in. Did it get top decked? Or I'm losing my mind. Town V maxing out on targets there. You know it's putting a Steelix line back in. Rolling for what I assume is Glaring Gaze. The first one hits. We get to see this Eek immediately. That looks like 7. Yeah, alright, perfect. Lots of Mons. Copycat will be a target, as will Item Finder, though, for this Glaring Gaze. Rainbow Energy can stay. Second Glaring Gaze failed. Item Finder goes back in. Copycat looking pretty powerful, though. Otherwise, it would be Item Finder for something like an Elm. Of course, given the hand, I'm not sure which 2 you would really want to discard there. Probably not the Fortresses. Could certainly discard a Cleffa. I think I would have tossed the Copycat back in. Baby Rule is gotten through. Dragonite attempting to slam again here. Double Tails again. That is how it goes sometimes. Fortress number 2 is now active. Board fills up with a 3rd Pineco. Worth noting that Onix can't really deal damage to Dragonite, at least due to a fighting resistance. And a Rainbow attaches to Onix for 10 damage. There's the Copycat as we were talking about. Huge hand here off this Copycat. Copycat for 9, pretty good. It's a big ol' hand, had a supporter for turn. You've already seen attach for turn. And there is the Steelix off of that Copycat. Looking pretty set up again. Curious if a charity was found off of that as well. Prizing still 5 to 6. Quick bin check. Considering Item Finder, maybe? Looks like 2 are going to get discarded here, considering what to pitch. We are going to see an Item Finder. Throwing away a Trader. And a Charity. We know there's 2 Charity in deck, though. Pulling in a Gust. Now with 2 Fortress down, Gust forcing those spikes from Fortress to do some damage here. Steelix coming in. Is there another Charity in hand already? I think we're about to see these Cleffas go to the bin. Double knockout with Earth Rift. An Earth Rift can be used again next turn. 2 Cleffas into the bin. Double prize turn. Prizing is now 5 to 4 in favor of Steelix. And those Noctowls each have 30 on them. Now, while it's still possible, lots of cards in hand, while it's still possible, getting that Dragonite back inactive with Step In would be very good. It would take 20, but there's a Gold Berry. Deciding what to do here. We'll see some Glaring Gazes first. First one is Tails. Second one, Heads. Only target is Fan Club. No Espeon for now, although that Eevee is in hand. Plenty of energy, though, worth noting. And that third Fortress coming in soon, so pick your active of choice quick. Recycle energy to Hoot Hoot. And a pass. I think that was a pass. Oh no, okay, so it wasn't a pass, that was Hypnosis off the Hoot Hoot to put the Steelix to sleep. Looks like it woke up. Fortress number 3 has now joined the fray, which means Spike's damage is dealing a total of 30. Then Earth Rift again, now popping that Gold Berry, dealing some spread damage. Both Noctowls up to 40. Now start considering if you're going to see something like a Strength Charm come down. Huge hand here for Dragonite. Cyclone Energy coming down. Glaring Gaze attempt is good. Fan Club again, going in. And Tails on the other one. Oh no, that looked like an attack for turn. So Cyclone, put Cleffa back in, attempted to attack. Not sure why Step In is being avoided here. Earth Rift good again. Noctowl's now 10 away from being knocked out. Another Cyclone puts the Cleffa back up. Hypnosis flip. Nope, Glaring Gaze first. It's good. Nothing in hand to target, but Hand Peep is always good as well. And now the baby flip with a Hoot Hoot attack, attempting to use Hypnosis, fails. Passing turn, Steelix comes right back in. And top deck's an Item Finder, discarding the Espeon line since the bench is full. Will Charity be grabbed? The card that won't go away. It will be the Charity. Now, will it be used is the question. Looks like damage is not being reduced. So everything will take 10. Double prize turn, knocking out both Noctowls. Prizing now 5-2 in favor of Steelix. Charity didn't need to be committed to board there, but you can. Can it be used again? Not next turn. Hoot Hoot is 10 damage away from being knocked out. Calm Surge now tossing a Cleffa. Huge hand. Just missing a Dratini to get going there. Looks like Warp got sent back. Can't tell what card that is with the glare. DCE coming down onto Dratini. So that was a comp search for Fan Club. Only one Dratini found. Both Drowsy prized. Brutal prizing. Looks like that was a hypnosis into a wake up. Couldn't quite tell. Oh boy. Charity and Strength Charm. A little bit of rearranging going on here. Rainbow attached for turn. Steelix up to 20. Passing turn, not attacking. That is a strategy. This is not standard though. Dragonair coming down. DCE onto Dragonair. Two Dragonites getting set up here. We know it's in hands. Hypnosis. Succeeds this time. The Steelix will be asleep for this turn. And a DCE onto Fortress. Curious if we'll see Fortress attack. Rapid Spin is a good attack. Passing turn for Wake Up. Stays asleep. So with Steelix asleep, surely we'll see Dragonite start attacking. Prizing was passed up. I would evolve into a fresh Dragonite and step in and pray to God. It's a pass. Steelix wakes up in between turns. Charity coming down. Alright, so now this turn, unlike previously, Steelix will decide to attack. Charity reducing all damage to Hoot Hoot, not taking the prize, just chipping the damage to the bench by 20 because Strength Charm is ruled incorrectly. Another Dragonite. Taking damage from spikes feels bad, but I don't see a way around it right now. The current game state is not looking very winnable. At least for Dragonite. Assumedly they are trying to find a card that I cannot think of that would make the situation better. Item Finder discarding that Dragonite and a Cyclone Energy, grabbing Goldberry, good pick. And double gust. Double gust will still cause spikes to trigger though. Alright, Dragonite coming back inactive here. Both sides gusting. Pulling in a Fortress with no energy. That Fortress only has 80 HP though, it could get one shot here. Goldberry coming in. And I think we're going to see a slam here. Quick bin check for Fortress. Slam is double tails. So we've seen 3 of those this game. So a lot of tails. Both drowsy and prizing. So pretty brutal if you're Dragonite. DCE to Fortress. I assume that'll then pass. Big hand though. We might see some trainers. Looks like there's a fan club in hand. Can't use that. Bench is full. Mons are all evolved. So just attached for turn, no other trainer to be used. Here comes a slam again. That is 1 heads. Double heads would have been huge there, taking a DCE off the board as well as getting a prize, but no dice. Prizing remains 5-2 in favor of Steelix. And no energy, it's a pass. Gets another chance to knock out the Fortress. Noctowl coming down. Glaring Gaze hits. Like we discussed before, taking Charity off the board here would be great. And Iron Smash is double tails again, good lord. At least Noctowl gains 10 HP on evolution, so it's not a single Earth Rift away from knockout, but that won't hold out for long. No energy again for Fortress. Glaring Gaze, it's good. See what was drawn. Pineco, Double Cleffa, 2 fan clubs, that's funny. That is a dead hand if you're Fortress. Can't really play any of those. And it looks like Slam just happened and it was good, so finally a prize. I don't think that was one of the Drowsies. I think there's still 2 Drowsies prized. Drew in energy, it sounds like. Based on 1 turn too late being commented on. Yep, you can see the metal there. That would have allowed for rapid spin. Which also cyclones both sides. So, pretty good, but Cleffa will exit the active slot. Steelix will come in here. If you high roll Iron Smash, it's a knockout. Probably game ending. 1 heads, so 50. Dragonite at 50. I think it'll be too difficult. Oh, there. Okay, Drowsy was drawn off the prizing.
Where'd he come from?
Very risky. You could go for long distance hypnosis.
That this was a sleep swap deck because Dragonite and Recycling just went to Rio. Oh my god. Okay. That's crazy.
I'm already unfavored in this match.
Yeah.
That was just like...
Yeah, pretty brutal matchup. Swap deck versus a bench spreader like Steelix. And running smack into Spike's Fortress. That was a Glaring Gaze roll for Tails. I can't quite read the die on Steelix, so I don't think Dragonite can one-shot here. Looks like Dragonite number 2 is now in play. Trading away a Dragonair. Gonna go get Hypno, maybe?
Oh, that's crazy. So different. That's cool.
There's the Hypno we were talking about way long ago. Nothing it can do right now. Honestly, if you're only taking 20 damage from spikes, I would just throw in the fresh Dragonite. Instead, it is a slam for 40, reduced to 20 because of the metal attaches on Steelix. Looks like it is up to 40 damage, so could high roll a KO. Second Dragonite gets that DCE energy removal immediately. It wasn't active because assumedly we're going to see an Iron Smash for a KO. Not sure what the thought process is, but it looks like an Earth Rift. And it can be used next turn, so setting up a double knockout for game, it looks like. Both Dragonite and Noctowl at risk of allowing for that double knockout. Oh, Pokemon Park. There is a stadium in this deck. Recycle energy comes down and heals up that other Dragonite. Would have liked to see that heal up the Noctowl, maybe. Glaring Gaze fails anyway. Double knockouts on board here. And going for the big swing. It is not going to be a KO though. No double heads, just one, so that was the logic for, I guess, the attach on the other Dragonite. If you can't high roll the slam and get the knockout, you might as well just get knocked. Seeing a fan club for some reason with double knockout available right now. Unless I am missing something. Nothing grabbed off a fan club. Worth noting, kids, with one metal energy attached to your Pokemon, you too can become active and take no spikes damage. Because spikes is considered a fortress attack even though it triggers as an ability. And then they trigger one at a time, so metal reduces all of it. Double knockout from Earth Rift. That'll be game. Last prizing there is Iggly and Eevee. Both Eevees sound like they were prized. Unable to find that stadium. That stadium would have been really helpful earlier. And there's the rest of the prizes. So thanks for watching. Comment, like, subscribe.
Like you said, it's tough for me for sure.